Okay, so get ready because today we're diving into a world where nightmares become reality.
Oh, yeah.
Literally reality.
Sounds fun.
It's Escape from Dream Prison.
Uh,
This story, it's kind of a psychological thriller, but
mm-hmm.
also some really mind-bending sci-fi elements in there.
Okay.
Seven strangers, they find themselves trapped in a shared dream world.
Okay.
But this is not just any dream.
Uh-oh.
This prison, it reacts to their emotions.
Interesting.
Like their deepest fears are given a physical form.
It's so fascinating taking like that universal experience we all have of having nightmares, but
Right.
pushing it to that extreme.
Yeah.
What if those things that keep you up at night,
Yeah.
those anxieties just became these walls closing in on you?
What are my own mental prisons?
Exactly.
And that's what this story makes you think about. And it all starts with this really jarring transition
Yeah.
from waking life into the dream world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's described as this like disorienting sensory overload.
Wow.
Almost like the characters are glitching in and out of reality.
Makes you wonder, like, is my reality stable?
Oh, yeah.
Could this happen to me?
If it could happen to them,
Right.
and then they wake up in this landscape that's constantly changing.
Oh, jeez.
Rooms are shifting, staircases leading to nowhere.
Oh, no.
It's like a psychological M.C. Escher painting,
Yeah.
that sheer panic and distrust.
I can't even imagine.
I don't even want to.
It's brilliant, though.
It is.
The way the story establishes these rules of the dream prison,
Yeah.
right? It's not just a physical space. It's like a reflection of their collective psyche, their anxieties literally shaping the environment.
At first, they try to treat it like a normal nightmare,
Right.
just run away, try to find the exit.
Okay, the nightmare.
But the dream, it doesn't work that way.
It's deeper than that.
And it's only when they start to understand that connection between their emotions and the environment
Yeah.
that things get really, really interesting.
Think about it. We all have fears and insecurities that we try to keep bottled up. But what if those emotions were suddenly given free rein?
Yeah.
Manifested in this physical way?
That's the terrifying potential
Just not the nightmare.
of this dream prison, and the story, it doesn't shy away from the consequences.
Oh, no.
Fear constricts the corridors, making escape impossible.
Wow.
Guilt opens up like chasms beneath their feet.
Scary.
You're constantly on edge, wondering what's going to trigger the next terrifying transformation.
Right.
How do you control your emotions in that situation?
That's the genius of it. It forces these characters, and us as readers,
Right.
to confront how powerful negativity can be.
Yeah.
We see how fear and guilt can become like self-fulfilling prophecies, how they trap us in these vicious cycles.
Yeah, and we start to see that play out in the group dynamics as well.
Okay.
That the initial shock wears off and those cracks and their unity start to show.
Yeah.
Some of the characters, they cling to hope.
Okay.
They believe they can control their emotions and escape together.
Working together.
Others descend into desperation, willing to do whatever it takes to survive,
Every man for themselves.
even if it means betraying the others.
So it's like real-world disasters.
Yeah.
Some people rise to the occasion, right?
Find strength in that community.
Cooperation.
Yeah. Yeah, and others.
Turn inward.
Yeah, just self-preservation.
And as that pressure mounts,
Oh, boy.
individual anxieties and traumas, they begin to take center stage.
Oh,
Each character is forced to confront their own, like, personalized nightmare scenario.
that's scary.
Like the woman who relives a past accident haunted by the face of the victim. Or the man who's tormented by the voice of his father,
Oh, wow.
accusing him of ruining their relationship. It's not just scary,
It's personal.
it's deeply personal.
Makes you think about guilt and trauma.
Right.
Can we ever escape those past mistakes?
It makes you wonder.
Or do they just haunt us forever?
Yeah, and then just when you think things can't get any worse, one of the characters makes this desperate escape attempt,
Okay.
vanishes into the void.
Oh, geez.
Did they actually escape? We don't know.
Or did they suffer a fate even worse than being trapped in this dream prison?
That raises the stakes.
Oh, yeah.
The characters and us as readers realize
Right.
that these rules are constantly shifting.
There are no guarantees.
Yeah, and even a successful escape might come at a terrible cost.
So they're left reeling, their trust shattered,
Yeah.
with no clear path forward. But amidst all that chaos and paranoia, one character starts to notice something strange about time within the dream.
Interesting.
And that's where we're going to pick things up after a quick break.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we left off with that unsettling feeling about time in this dream world.
Yeah, it's not just like an eternity of being trapped. you know,
Right.
but something's more fundamentally wrong with it.
Yeah, and that's where this reclusive artist character comes in.
Okay.
They're kind of the first one to start putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
They notice how days can feel like they just stretch on forever.
Right.
And then suddenly these huge jumps forward. It's like whole chunks of time have been deleted.
That wouldn't mess with me.
Oh, yeah.
Being trapped is one thing.
Right.
But losing your grip on time itself,
It's scary.
it just reinforces this feeling of being unmoored.
Yeah.
Drift in this reality that you can't trust.
And it gets even weirder.
Oh, no.
The artist starts having these like fragmented memories.
Okay.
These flashes of rooms, events, like
Deja vu.
deja vu, but dialed up to 11.
Which is interesting because then you start thinking about memory and identity,
Can we trust our memories?
What if our memories aren't as reliable as we think?
What if they can be manipulated,
Yeah.
fabricated?
What does it even mean to be you then?
It's like that ship of Theseus thing.
Yeah.
You replace all the parts.
Is it still the same ship?
Is it still the same person if their memories are constantly being rewritten?
The story makes those philosophical questions so visceral,
Yeah, it's not just an academic debate anymore.
Right. It's something the characters are dealing with.
It challenges their entire sense of self.
Yeah.
And to make things even more paranoid, objects from the real world start bleeding into the dream.
Okay.
A wristwatch, a photograph, but they're always like broken, distorted.
They don't belong.
They're struggling to exist in this reality.
Right. It's like the dream is mimicking the real world,
Yeah.
but it can only produce these warped copies.
As if to remind you something's wrong.
Don't trust your senses.
And then the real gut punch.
Oh, no, what now?
They discover that escape might be possible,
Okay.
but at a terrible cost.
Uh-oh.
The prison, it demands a sacrifice.
A sacrifice.
One of them has to stay behind.
Trapped forever.
Talk about a moral dilemma.
Oh.
It's not just about escaping anymore.
Right.
Do they condemn one of their own to eternal imprisonment,
Or keep searching for another way?
but risk their own destruction in the process?
That's a tough question.
There's no easy answer.
Really makes them think about their values.
Their sense of responsibility, are they willing to sacrifice one life to save the others?
And if so, how do they choose?
Right, and even if they do choose, how can they trust the prison will honor its end of the bargain?
It's a place built on deception.
You can't trust anything it says.
It's really tearing them apart.
Yeah, their already fractured group is completely torn apart.
Suspicions running wild.
Some become ruthlessly pragmatic,
Okay.
arguing for the necessity of sacrifice,
You.
while others cling to hope,
Right.
just desperately seeking another solution.
And in the middle of all this.
They finally come face to face with the prison's guardian,
Okay.
this monstrous embodiment of their collective fear.
Oh, wow.
But there's a twist.
What?
This terrifying entity, this thing they've been trying to escape,
Yeah.
turns out to be their own creation.
Their own creation.
It's a manifestation of their anxieties, their guilt, their regret given form.
That's deep.
Sometimes our greatest enemies aren't the external forces,
It's the internal ones.
the ones we try to suppress.
Yeah. We build prisons inside ourselves.
True freedom comes from confronting those inner demons.
Accepting the darkness within.
And so one of the characters, burdened by guilt over their past,
Okay.
they step forward and offer themselves as the sacrifice.
Wow.
A really heart-wrenching moment, but also
Powerful.
this powerful act of self-sacrifice,
Not a traditional hero.
but a recognition of responsibility,
They're taking ownership.
a willingness to atone for the harm they've caused,
It's very human.
even within this nightmarish story.
Yeah.
But as they're making the sacrifice, something truly chilling happens.
Oh,
The others start to forget them.
forget them.
Their memories fade like they never even existed.
It makes you think about sacrifice.
You know, what does it mean to give your life for others?
If everyone forgets you did it,
If your sacrifice is forgotten,
does it still have meaning?
with that unsettling thought,
Yeah.
the remaining characters wake up.
They're back.
Back in the real world.
Or so it seems.
At least that's what it seems like at first.
I don't know about this.
In a story like this, things are rarely that simple.
The line between dream and reality has been blurred.
Completely.
How can we be sure?
They're back in the real world, back in their lives, but something's just off, you know?
Yeah, it's not a clean break. It's more like
Still infected.
carrying the infection with you.
Yeah.
It starts subtly. They wake up in this like sterile hospital room, but the details are wrong. Doctors' faces are blurred, sounds are muffled.
Almost like reality is still glitching.
Yeah, that's the kind of fear that gets me.
That unreality feeling.
Stuck in a bad dream, but you can't wake up.
Can't get out.
It's like even if you escape the physical prison,
Mm-hmm.
the mental prison is still there.
It follows you, and what's even more disturbing is they struggle to remember each other.
Right, those bonds. They formed the shared trauma that should have connected them.
It's fading.
Like a dream you're trying to grasp, but you're waking up.
That sense of loss,
Yeah, even though they can't place it.
it makes you think about memory.
How fragile it is.
Even the most intense experiences can just slip away.
And how much of who we are is tied to those shared experiences.
Those connections with other people, it all goes back to that question.
What makes us who we are?
If our memories are so malleable,
So easily distorted.
what's left? And
It's a
then
gut punch.
the camera pans out,
Oh, no.
and there, on the wall of the hospital room, is a mark.
Oh.
The same symbol from the dream prison.
It's not over.
A chilling reminder that the nightmare isn't truly over.
That's the kind of ending that stays with you.
So many questions.
Was it all a dream?
Did the prison infect the real world?
Or is it something deeper?
Something inside of them.
Maybe those anxieties, those fears we carry,
They're always going to be with us.
part of us?
I think about how we try to compartmentalize things, you know?
Right.
We tell ourselves we can just leave the bad stuff behind.
Yeah, just close the door on it.
But this story, it's suggesting it's not that simple.
Trauma leaves scars.
Fear lingers.
Even after the threat is gone.
There's no easy answers here.
It's not about defeating a monster.
Or breaking out of a physical prison.
It's about the prisons we create within ourselves.
Those limitations we put on ourselves.
Through fear, guilt, self-doubt.
So true freedom, then.
It's not a destination, it's a process.
Recognizing those mental barriers.
Those internal prisons.
And constantly working to break free.
And maybe that's the scariest part.
The escape is never truly over.
But there's freedom in that struggle, too.
Defining ourselves, choosing our own reality.
Even when things are uncertain.
This has been a really intense deep dive. I'm still processing all this.
Me too.
Listeners, I want you to think about this.
What are the anxieties that hold you back?
What are the walls of your dream prison?
How will you escape?
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep diving deep.